Okay, good day, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for attending our webinar this morning. My name is Murli. I'm a full-time employee of QS Technology with almost 5 years of hands-on experience. I'm a certified ethical hacker, certified checkpoint security master, also one of the core member of Purple Synapse. Purple Synapse is located in Bangalore, which is our world-class cybersecurity and attack simulations labs. Also provides the red and blue teaming training solutions in order to secure the information systems of our customers. So we are running this webinar in association with KTech. KTech is a really good initiative from Karnataka government to spread cybersecurity awareness. With respect to that, from QS Technology, we will also be conducting free security webinars on first Friday of upcoming months. Okay, so as you guys know, this webinar is all about providing you basic awareness of WAPT using open source tools. With me, my colleague Piyush is there to present you further with these ideas on the open source vulnerability assessment and pen testing. Hi Piyush, hey.
Hey, morning, Murli.
Good morning. Okay, so what you had for your breakfast?
Sandwich.
Oh, good. That's my favorite too. Let's. Okay, so Piyush is one of the Purple pure play pen tester, worked on multiple pen testing projects, and also one of the speaker in Open Source India. Welcome, Piyush.
Hello all of you. Morning, good morning.
Okay,
Yeah, good morning.
okay. So guys, you may ping your questions in chat box and will be answered at the end of this webinar. So we'll make sure all of your questions will be answered. So we'll make the separate session for the discussion. So I'll be staying back, Piyush. Maybe I'll be having my breakfast. Thank you, Piyush. You can take further control now. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Murli.
Thank you.
Now, in this particular session, we will first take a look into the importance of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. And after that, we will progress further with getting to know practically the complete process of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. And this is a beginner-friendly session. So if if I happen to get some more bit technical in depth, then please ping me your questions, or you may also raise your hand. The picture well describes the dependency of today's society upon technology. And as technocrats, we understand the underlying complexity that comes up into providing this technology to the society. And we understand that deploying this infrastructure, developing this IT infrastructure, designing the IT infrastructure, then developing it, then deploying the IT infrastructure, and then maintaining this complete IT infrastructure, it is a project in itself. Now, when we talk about a project, it requires several teams to work in collaboration and coordination along with each other. Ideally, it should go smoothly, but the actual project management can become as scary as the picture that you are seeing in the screen right now. So the advantage, so there are attackers who are ready to take advantage of this situation with several levels of expertise, having a set of motivations. They come up with the attack vectors on the IT infrastructure, resulting into incidents which almost all of us would have witnessed. Should I move ahead? Okay. Now, because of this, it can be pretty fine to say that the yesterday's weapons are now today's technology. And in order to prevent the situation from turning something like this, like what we are seeing now on the screen, is where the VAPT or the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing comes into picture. Now, the purpose of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is that we need to identify the vulnerabilities that resulted out of the IT infrastructure before the actual attackers end up discovering it. So the role is to identify the vulnerabilities within the given IT infrastructure, to report it to those who are responsible for maintaining that IT infrastructure, so that they mitigate from those vulnerabilities before the actual attackers end up discovering it and exploiting it, preventing the possible business impact that it can cause. So that clarifies the importance of vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Now, coming to the phases and the process in which the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing is performed, it starts with the reconnaissance phase, wherein the professional goes ahead and gathers as much information possible about the given IT infrastructure engagement. Then he proceeds with scanning, wherein he identifies the IP addresses and the ports which are available within the given network range. He checks if through any means possible he is able to gain access or not. Then once he is able to gain access, ideally, yes, he should report it to the team which is responsible for mitigating the same. Now, let's take up a practical look into it. In the reconnaissance phase, the professional goes ahead and collects the organizational information as well as the technical information about the infrastructure. Some information about the key persons is also good to have. And once that information is with us, we can proceed further with starting the scanning phase of the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Murli has some interesting experience to share when it comes to the platforms which are available for vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Over to you, Murli.
Okay. So here you can see for penetration testing, so we have a lot of operating system which is available freely over the internet. So these are all the listed operating system which contains a lot of pen testing tools and applications. So Piyush, can you go to Google and just check, just
Yes.
type 21 pen testing operating systems.
This one you mean?
Yes, click on that. So just scroll down. Yeah. So here you have those 21 operating systems which is freely available, which is completely open source, and you can also get the download links, and you can download and test in your labs. So you can play around with multiple tools and applications. So if operating itself comes as a free, you can also expect the tools and applications which are there. It is also free for pen testing. So some requires a registration. You just get registered and get the tools and make use of them. So most of the time, so we use Kali Linux as an attacker machine, and because the offensive security and other courses like OSCP, OSCE, and CH, they teach only by using the Kali Linux. These are very powerful tools. So Piyush, can you go to Kali Linux VirtualBox? This is just to show you the overview of what we are going to do with the open source tools. So can you go click on applications? We are into Kali Linux operating system. We have multiple tools for multiple attacks, pen testing basically. You can see information gathering scanning or gaining the access or maintaining the access or clearing the tracks. So whatever you have seen, all the phases in the attacking or pen testing. So for any kind of attacks or pen testing, we can make use of these tools here, which you can see here. So there are multiple tools majorly we use for Nmap, Nessus Scan, or Metasploit framework. And for the reconnaissance phase, we always make use of open source intelligence framework, which is another most interesting stuff which we are going to discuss in our next webinar, okay, in the next month probably. So that where we are going to explain more about the OSINT framework, where for the reconnaissance phase, it's all about gathering the information before then testing, making the footprinting or blueprint for our next plan. Okay, Piyush, you can take control and proceed further.
Okay, thanks, Murli.
Thank you.
So now what we will be seeing is the set of community developed or open source utilities and tools which are available in order to move ahead with the complete steps and the process in which the VAPT is performed. Now let's say we will dive in directly into the practicals, into the practical demonstrations. Now, say for example, we are given a VAPT engagement of a network range of a network infrastructure. In that case, once once the contracts and all that are signed and are in the place, we can proceed with the actual VAPT engagement. In this case, we need to be within that particular network range so that we are able to connect ourselves, so that we are able to make connections, so that we are able to connect to the IT infrastructure of the customer. Once as we see now that we are into the range and we need to discover the possible IPs. The first step is to discover all possible IPs which are alive and up at that point of time. Now, this is where Nmap utility comes into picture for IP scanning. And using SN parameter, will basically, what it will do is it will ping all possible IP addresses within the given range. And from the response that Nmap gets, it is able to list out all possible IP addresses which are up at that point of time. Now, while you are doing IP scanning, make sure that you do it multiple times at the different intervals of the day, so that you come to know that at which time of the day which IP addresses are up. Let's say, for example, I did the scan first time, and after that, after some time when I did this scan, I found that yes, there is another particular IP address which got up and which is alive at this particular time. And certainly in this particular basic example, we are basically doing a ping. We are basically sending ping packets to all possible IP addresses. There are certainly cases wherein the ping is either not allowed or it will generate alerts in the defense mechanisms. Now, for this purpose, you can explore other parameters and other features available with Nmap. By typing nmap-h, it will list out all possible parameters which it supports. Let's say, for example, SYN scan is something that you can definitely check out. OS detection and other such features also it will provide you with. Now, once we are done with the IP address, IP scanning, we are able to list out the IPs. The next step is to go ahead and list out all the possible ports which are open on the particular given IP address. So in this case, if we do Nmap, if we use Nmap and we do Nmap and the IP address, V stands for verbose mode. In this case, it will scan for most common top 1000 ports and it will list out that out of those top 1,000 ports, which all ports are available and which are ports are open at that point of time. So here, as we see that port 21 and the particular complete big list of ports which are open. Now, in this case, we see that it was able to scan for, we did a scan for top 1,000 ports alone. Whereas using another utility that we have, that is a Unicorn Scan, we can go ahead and what we have experienced is Unicorn Scan is more faster when it comes to performing heavy scans, like scanning all 65,535 ports. So in this case, it was able to list out all possible ports which were found to be available and open. And this pretty much accomplishes our sample port scanning. Once the port scanning is done, we came to know that port 21 is open. But certainly we need to have as much information as much possible about the given IT infrastructure. So we need to identify that, let's say if port 21 is open, then which is that particular service version that is being deployed on port 21. Now for this, again, we can make use of the Nmap utility, wherein we use version intensity parameter and set it to 9, so that it can go ahead and try to identify the particular service version by itself, that which particular service version is being deployed on the particular ports. So this is pretty much comes into the phase, the next phase of gathering information, and something that is referred as enumeration phase, in which once we come to know that which ports are open, our intention is to identify and gather as much information about those particular ports, the service version, and the all possible information that we are able to collect and gather out of the particular service which is available. So in the enumeration phase, there are several utilities that can help us out in order to enumerate as much as possible for the given IP address, for the given port, for the given target. Let's say, for example, Nmap will rescue us with the same for the same objective. Nmap has several scripts which will try to identify and gather as much information possible about the given service which is found to be open and running on the given target. So that is that's what we are seeing in the scripts, all the scripts which will be helpful, which are helpful for us in the enumeration phase are listed in the scripts folder. What we are doing is we are listing out all possible FTP scripts which are available with us. Now, how to use this script so that we can, let's say, gather information out of the FTP port which is available on the given IP address. So that's where we use Nmap, and along with that we are using FTP anon script that we found to be available over here on the given IP address. Now this script went ahead, and the purpose of this script is to identify if the anonymous login is allowed. Now the result that it gave out to us is that yes, on this particular service port 21 of the given IP address, anonymous login is allowed. Now we need to research over internet what is anonymous login. When we research over internet what is anonymous login, we see that ideally when we try to connect to the FTP of one particular IP, it asks us for the name and password. And if name and password, any of them is incorrect, it shows us login failed. Now the difference in case of anonymous FTP login, when it is allowed, the difference is that while we are trying to connect to that particular IP address, in the name if we type anonymous, and in the password we provide our email address, then the login becomes successful. So we come to know that actually the password is the username and password is not required when it comes to when the anonymous login is allowed. And another set of information that we get for this particular port is we come to know that yes, we are again much more confirmed that yes, on the FTP port on port 21, this particular service version is available. Now, when we happen to do some internet research over the exact particular version, let's see what we get. We are able to see that the particular version is vulnerable, and you will also try to find it out the exact vulnerability out of the CVE. And some of the internet research will reveal to us that the particular version was contained actually a backdoor. Now, how this backdoor can be exploited? This particular backdoor gets activated when in the username someone is entering this symbol at the end, and in the password can be anything. And the working of this backdoor is this, that when someone in the username they enter these symbols, in the back end port 6200 is what gets activated. That is, port 6200 opens up, becomes available to the user. I think we need to try it again. We also have the actual exploitation documentation. Okay, I think we already got it. Yes. So port 6200 becomes available. It means that now we have the terminal of the target operating system on the port 6200 available with us. So we are pretty much allowed to pass the commands that we can pass in the any Linux terminal that we have. Anything interesting? And as we see from the ID that we have the root access on the system. So in this case, if this would have been a real world engagement, and let's say, for example, in the if this particular backdoored version of this particular service would have been deployed by mistake in the real world in IT infrastructure, the attackers would have pretty much gained the root access of the system with ease. But certainly, since this session is intended more towards explaining the basic concepts, such situations are rarely faced in the real world engagements. Now let's exit out of this. So that was the first vulnerability that we exploited out of the information that we have gathered. So FTP, we came to know that this particular service is running. We researched over internet about this particular service. We also used Nmap scripts to identify if anonymous login is allowed. And we came to know that it is a backdoored version which is deployed within the IT infrastructure. We went ahead and as per the documentation that was provided over the exploitation, over how this particular backdoored version is exploited. We exploited it likewise and gained the access to the system. So that was the first port that we gathered information about and we exploited. Similarly, we also see that port 23 is open. Now, since our step is to go ahead and try connecting to port 23, see what is there. When we try to connect to port 23, it asks us for a login and password, but the credentials are pretty much there in the banner of the service itself. Now, when we go ahead and use the same credentials, we are able to gain the access. The something that we can further explore as a VAPT professionals is this, that once we have a certain set of credentials which are useful in accessing one particular service, our responsibility is to test that if there is any misconfiguration related to the passwords. It means that is the same password, username and password, used somewhere else as well. Let's say in this case, we also saw that port 512 was open and 513. Port 512, 513 are open, which leads us into using connecting to that target using our login. And we check as VAPT professionals, we need to check if the same credentials that we have harvested earlier, that we found or we discovered earlier, are useful somewhere in the other services or not. So in this case, we found that even in case of our login, the same username and the same passwords worked, giving us the access to the system. So that mainly deals with the misconfiguration. If we get back to our slides, we did IP scanning, in which case we saw Nmap, as well as further when we moved ahead with port scanning, we used Nmap, as well as we also used the second one, that is Unicorn Scan. Now, we proceeded with enumeration for the FTP port, and we also did an enumeration for the Telnet service, which is there, in which we found out the credentials. Now, for enumeration, we saw that there are several scripts available provided by Nmap, and we used the first one out of that. We also used the last one, that was the Telnet. And certainly you can use some other scripts as well, which are available in the Nmap. Now, let us also check the vulnerability scanning part of the enumeration phase, wherein the objective is that there are several utilities available for vulnerability scanning, which will identify the vulnerabilities and also many times report that the exploits are available for one particular vulnerability that was discovered by vulnerability scanner or not. Now, in this case, the open source utilities or the community developed utilities which are available are Enum for Linux. Nikto is particularly used for the web services which are running, as well as OpenVAS is an open source vulnerability scanner which is available out there. So let me run Enum for Linux on the given IP address, and it will list out some information which the VAPT professional can go ahead with and research over the information that the particular vulnerability scanner is able to collect out of this scanning. Now, yet another example of the vulnerability scanner is OpenVAS. So once you are done with setting up OpenVAS in the Kali operating system, you just have to enter the username, password, and type the IP address of the target system, similar to what you are specifying over here. In this case, we already have a pre-generated report, the vulnerability scan report that the OpenVAS will generate once it has completed its vulnerability scanning. The report will look something similar to this, in which the vulnerability scan will list out those vulnerabilities that it believes has high criticality, that it believes has medium criticality, and any other information that it has gathered over the logs and over the low criticality issues. So pretty interesting details and information we are able to gather out of the vulnerability scanning. Yet another example of vulnerability scanning is Nikto. So in this particular scanning, what we are doing is we are going ahead and scanning port 80, which is available as per what we saw in the port scanning. And out of this information, one major information that although VAPT professional, ideally he would end up doing research on all the information that that this scan has generated. From the exploitation perspective, if we do research on this particular version, which is deployed on the target system on port 80, we can see that what we found over the internet research. When we do internet research over this, we see that there are exploits available for the particular for the particular service which is running on for the particular PHP deployment which is there in the given IT infrastructure. So certainly we will be going ahead and using this exploit as we proceed further. But apart from this, similar to what we have done in the Telnet and FTP, that we went ahead and tried to establish our connection with with that particular port on the target, we can proceed with the SMB port as well, SMB service as well, which we found to be open on port 139 and 445. So when we do that, when we try to connect with the respective ports, we see that the deployment is Samba 3.0.20. Again, once we get this particular information, we do some research over internet and we see that this particular version suffers from few vulnerabilities as well, for which the exploit available is there with Metasploit. Now, what is Metasploit? Let's take a look into our slides. So vulnerability scanning is something that we saw, and in the OpenVAS vulnerability scanner, the interface GUI that you will be able to see in the browser will be something similar. Now, when it comes to exploitation, the exploitation or the endpoint can get exploited because of the three major issues. The first one is the software bug, or the software which is deployed within the IT infrastructure itself contains of one particular vulnerability which the attacker can go ahead and exploit. The another one is misconfiguration, that we saw that the default or the reused passwords can be categorized as something in the misconfigurations of which we exploited for the telnet service. In the banner grab itself, we were able to identify that what are the credentials. So this is a kind of misconfiguration in which the credential should not be there in the banners itself. Now, another misconfiguration that we saw was the same credentials were used in yet another service which was there in the same IT infrastructure. As we saw that we used the same credentials and were able to gain access through that particular service using the same credentials. Now, credentials and passwords, if they are not taken well care of, that gets counted into software misconfigurations, which the attacker can go ahead and exploit. Now, coming to software bugs, what we exploited was the FTP service, in which we identified that the FTP service which was under deployment that contained a backdoor, and we identified that anonymous login is allowed. We went ahead and gained access to that system, exploiting the software bug which existed within the FTP deployment. Now, it is the same. So this slides walks you through the same explanation. The first one is the FTP backdoor that we exploited. Another was the telnet and rlogin exploitation that we did. Now, with rlogin, similar to rlogin, RSH is something that will help you. It won't give you the access that you are getting using rlogin, but here, if you pass here you can directly pass one single command, and as we can see, we are able to get the response for that particular command. Now, let's talk about Metasploit. So before we start Metasploit, these three conceptual terminologies needs to be clear. That what is a vulnerability? The vulnerability that we exploited when it comes to the FTP was that that particular FTP version which was there under deployment, it suffered from a backdoor which was pre-embedded in that particular version of FTP. Then the exploit is that code that allows us to exploit the given vulnerability. So if you remember, in the FTP, what we did is when we in the username, when we are giving the two symbols, that is the smiley face symbols in the username, the vulnerability gets activated. So this is where the exploit gets exploited. So this is where the vulnerability gets exploited. And the payload payload is where we are getting the shell, we are getting the access to the system, to the target system, when we are connecting to the port 6200. And then we are able to pass the command. So all the commands will get categorized under the payload section. Now, how the Metasploit works? We will be seeing the Metasploit framework, in which the attacker he first fires the exploit on the given target, on the given victim. And once the exploit runs, once the exploit is successful, then the payload runs. It is through the payload that the attacker is able to connect to the system and execute commands, download the data, and perform all possible malicious activities that he intends to. Now, let's take a look at the Samba service exploitation. For the Samba service, we came to know that this particular version is under deployment in the given infrastructure. We went ahead and we researched over internet over any vulnerabilities or exploits available, and we came to know that yes, Metasploit framework has one exploit available for the same. Now we went ahead and used the same exploit which was available which was provided to us uh, in the website of Metasploit, that is Rapid7. We used this particular exploit, and we have to specify the IP address of the target that we intend to exploit. Now, the IP address of the IP address that we are targeting currently is 0.163. Let us type exploit for this one. And we see that the command shell is opened up by exploiting this particular vulnerability. Now, exactly what is the vulnerability and how does this exploitation work in the backend is something that you can definitely go ahead and research. It is pretty interesting. Right now, using Metasploit, we are able to get the command shell access of the target system, similar to the one that we got earlier. So over here, we were able to pass commands. Here as well, we will be able to pass commands within the infrastructure. So that was a sample demonstration of how a vulnerability can be discovered by connecting to the particular port and doing researching that particular version over internet, coming up with identifying the exploit and vulnerabilities which are available for that particular service, and then using Metasploit is which is another open source or community based utility which is available, framework which is available for usage for the VAPT engagement and VAPT simulation. Now let us exit out of this. And let's now focus on yet another vulnerability. We saw that when we did Nyctoscan, we were presented with that PHP one particular version is under deployment. Now, when we do research over internet about any vulnerability it suffers from, we are able to identify that yes, the version suffers from one particular vulnerability, and the exploitation for the same exploit for the same is available on the Metasploit as well. So we go ahead and we deploy the particular exploit which we found to be available on internet for the one particular vulnerability. Here as well, we set the IP address, and now we are specifying Metasploit framework to go ahead and try to exploit the system over the vulnerability that we have identified. And yes, we see that here as well a session got opened up. Now, in contrast to the previous command shells we had access to, here we got a MeterPeter access. Now, MeterPeter offers some more functionalities apart from the simple command shell that we get. So MeterPeter does have its own set of commands that we can pass, as well as we can get us the shell that we initially got. So now that I have given the shell command, now we are in the shell. And here we see that apart from, in contrast to the initial root access that we gained, right now we are not a root user, but we have exploited, since we have exploited port 80, we are under the privileges of which is usually offered to the port 80 service. the service under which the service which is operated by the particular user. So this is yet another example wherein we are exploiting, as we saw in the, we are exploiting the software bugs out of the endpoint, out of the IT infrastructure. The first category that we saw, the software bugs, using Metasploit. And now let us take a look also at how software misconfigurations also can be exploited. We will take a look at its demonstration using Metasploit as well. Now, if you happen to see the port scan results, we see that port 8180 is running and Apache Tomcat is under deployment. It simply means that if we happen to even browse to port 8180 of the given target IP address, then we are seeing that Apache Tomcat is under deployment. And the design, by the design, Apache Tomcat has a admin login page. Now, when there is an admin login page of the particular admin login page available on the particular service, let us try to identify the admin login page out of this one. So it asks us for the username and password. Now this is meant for the admin login of for the Apache Tomcat service. Now, if this login is particularly for the admin, that is the administrator of this particular service, ideally it should be taken care that the credentials which are used for logging in into this particular Apache Tomcat for the administrator, it should not be the default credentials. But in this case, we need to check, the VAPT professional needs to check if the credentials are easy to guess, easy to brute force, and is it easy for the attacker to get logged in into this system. Now, this is where we will be using brute force for the credentials that are there. So using the framework, we tried several different credentials. Out of this, we saw that the default credentials for this, that is the Tomcat worked. So if we manually go ahead using the credentials that framework helped us out with, we are able to gain the administrator access into the Apache Tomcat service. Now here now this is that page through which you can upload the web pages or the files on this particular web server. And certainly if the attacker is able to gain the access, he will be uploading malicious files that will lead him into gaining access for this particular web server. So we saw software bugs and software misconfigurations getting exploited. We saw the demonstrations of software bugs, exploiting software bugs and misconfigurations manually, as well as using Metasploit framework. Talking about human error, it is that techniques, these are those techniques which are used by the attacker through which, let's say let's take up one scenario in which the attacker comes to know that about the email address of the employee within that who is working in that IT infrastructure. The attacker sends him a malicious email or a phishing link, the link that will when the employee when that particular employee will click upon, a malware gets downloaded and installed within his system, and then the attacker gains the access to his system. Now from his system, the attacker can go ahead and discover, do IP scanning, do port scanning, etc. So we exploited the Samba service, as well as we exploited PHP deployment, which was under deployment on the given our target IP address. We also brute forced the credentials of the Tomcat manager. And if you certainly wants to explore ahead, you may go ahead, and this particular exploit that you are seeing on the screen right now will help you upload a malicious page using the credentials that you have gained, that is Tomcat, and upload a malicious file and gain the shell pretty much in the same way that we gained the shell exploiting the initial services. As we can see, when you are using this particular exploit that is responsible for uploading malicious pages, you have to specify the credentials, that is the username and password, that is Tomcat, using which this particular exploit will go ahead and simulate the uploading of malicious page that will give you the shell. So once you have access to the system, the next phase that begins is the post-exploitation. Now, what is post-exploitation all about? Since the attacker has gained or the VAPT professional has gained access to one of the IP address or one of the system within the IT infrastructure, our idea is to see that what all business impact it can cause with this particular access to the system that the VAPT professional has. Now for this, he needs to explore what all information he can gather from the new level of access that he has gained into this IT infrastructure. So basically the same cycle will get repeated with the new access that he has, with the command terminal access or with the meter Peter access that he has. He will gather information over what all can he do with the new level of access that he has. So if you go ahead and you use all these commands, the VAPT professional will be able to identify a good set of information that will help him in further migrating towards the other system, further exploiting other systems which are there in the IT infrastructure, and he will be able to gauge the exact business impact that this particular access that he has gained can cause within the given IT infrastructure. So once these steps of VAPT are performed, once this is done, ideally the VAPT professional goes ahead and reports that yes, he is able to identify these many vulnerabilities, out of which these many vulnerabilities he is able to exploit, and the business impact that can possibly get caused out of the exploitations that were simulated by the VAPT professional.
Okay, that was the great demonstration, Piyush. Thank you for that. So let's conclude this. So VAPT is all about identifying and exploiting and confirming whether the vulnerability is there or not, is it real or just a guessing. So VAPT can be done at your OS level, application level, or the networking level. Okay. So for example, let's say by human errors or software bugs or the misconfiguration. Okay, so let's say take an example. So most of the time we disable our Windows firewall, okay, which has some blocking configuration for basic NJRAT Trojans or malwares or some of the protocol blocking. So what we do sometimes, because ping is not working, we entirely disable the firewall. So that's actually not good for, because there is some kind of exploit that is called eternal blue or double pulsar, which can take control of the that vulnerability. Okay, if your firewall is off on the Windows, so that leads to a big disaster for that computer, because that eternal blue or double pulsar can exploit and take the full control of your computer. So by the hacker or the bad guy. So I'm not just talking about the hacker. So bad guy I'm talking. So bad guy could be anyone with a bad intention, or could be your any disgruntled employee of the company. So who can take the control and just infiltrate the information from your critical computer systems. So make sure you have to at least enable your Windows firewall and only allow the rule of allowing the ICMP. And one more thing, some of the people will just have very default passwords like admin Q1W2E3 for username and password. So that can be easily brute forceable. So if your SSH of your firewall or any server or any node in the network is accessible through SSH, which is having through the public IP address, so anybody can over the internet can take the access if they have bad intention to exploit your computers. So at least up to some basic level, you should aware how to prevent from the attacks for your computer systems. So make sure little bit of VAPT you can do from your side. So you can, before the bad guy attacks your mission or do penetration testing, you do the penetration testing and confirm you can prevent, like make sure every configuration could be covered. So coming back to the open source tools, okay, it's like shaving blades, okay, which is available on the public, so freely, which can also be used by bad people for offensive purpose. So you can make use of these tools to do the pen testing and prevent from the actual attacks before the hacker gets access to your systems. So this is all about this seminar. And somebody were asking what is NOPE and Ox in Metasploit. Yes, obviously you had to do a lot of research. So pen testing is all about doing the research and knowing the things. So you can just go to Google and just type Metasploit Unleashed, and some of the freely available courses are there on the internet, like cybery.it. There are 6 to 7 hours of course you can go through and get the things. So one more thing is, so understand each phases of hacking. That is what malicious hacker do. And also the cyber kill chain for more information about attacking and defending mechanism for your information system. So it could be reconnaissance phase, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, command and control, and exfiltration. So where you can actually think what is at the offensive side and what is at the defensive side. So understand it more. And if problem comes to us, so we have to run for searching the solution to fix it. That's what the universal problem is. So let's go to the, is there any questions from you guys, audience? So we can have, yes, yeah.
Yeah, can you please tell me that VA tool you use? I joined late little.
It will be recorded, actually. It is recorded. We'll be posting on YouTube soon. So you can watch it from
the tool name, VA tool name.
So VA tool.
We covered OpenVAS.
I think he's asking about Nessus scanner or Nmap scanner.
Yes, so Nmap scripts are available.
Okay. The first tool is OpenVAS, yeah?
Yes, OpenVAS is one. Nikto is another, which is specifically used for scanning the web services which are there.
Okay.
And Enum for Linux is another, which is open source community developed utility which is available that will give out give out much information about the given IP address.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
So any other question?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi. Can you check the I want to test the vulnerability in my Windows server. Is there any tool available?
Yes, there is a tool for scanning that is Nessus, okay, which is available for 7 days free license. So you can
Okay.
just download and do the basic
What is the name?
network scanner. Nessus. That is not
Nessus.
actually the open source. That is commercial version. You can also buy that. 7 days it is freely available for the internet.
Or any inbuilt tool in Kali in Linux? You can check the vulnerability in Windows.
Any Windows?
OpenVAS will help you with the same.
OpenVAS. Okay.
Yes.
It will work. No? Okay. No, but thank you.
And you can
This
also
OpenVAS,
one more thing, you can also make use of Nmap scripts, okay, which is predefined.
And yes, Nmap scripts will also help you with the same.
It will work. No. Okay. No problem. Only I have to give the script and IP address.
Yes,
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you.
this OpenVAS and Nikto is available with Kali, yeah?
Yes, OpenVAS is available with the Kali. You will have to do some minor settings and you can get OpenVAS running. Nikto is available pre-installed on Kali as well as Nmap, and yes, others Enum for Linux as well is available pre-installed in Kali.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Murli and Piyush, my question is like, is there any goal behind this particular training, or I mean this particular session?
No, this is just make the awareness of cybersecurity with us in
So-
association with KTEC, that is Karnataka government, with just to give the basic idea about VAPT. Yes.
Now, in sense of goal, the major intention was to spread awareness about the open source utilities which are there, and particularly the importance of VAPT in the IT infrastructures and for the applications, because what we have experienced is applications do get launched, but they are still vulnerable even though they are in the production.
Okay. So applications, ideally we use Burpsuit and
Correct.
there are a lot of source code reviewers.
Correct.
Yeah, VAPT depends on where you're doing the PT. That is could be your OS level or application level or web application.
Now,
Or
what you have shown
network
us
level.
is to network level, because
Yeah,
it's
network level.
compatible.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all we cannot cover everything at 1 hour, right?
Right.
Intention was to cover the flow, making people aware about the flow in which VAPT is performed. We specifically do conduct trainings when it comes to the specific or specialized, let's say web application VAPT or network VAPT or IO or Android and Wi-Fi VAPT as well. So they are highly technical in nature, but this was a more beginner friendly. The most objective was to make people aware about the importance of VAPT alone.
Yeah, that I agree, and this was really I can appreciate you both on this aspect.
Yes,
I just wanted to check only any goal behind this, means like Checkpoint is in demand of the penetration testers or what. That's how was my mindset.
Okay, so Checkpoint has recently started some awareness and I would say trainings when it comes to the offensive side of the IT infrastructure as well, the red teaming and the VAPT side. So if you can check, you may check on the Checkpoint. Some certifications and trainings are definitely available for the offensive and red teaming and VAPT side as well with Checkpoint.
Okay. I'll definitely check that.
You can also check on our website, that is purplesynapse.com, for more information about the courses as well.
Okay, sure. I'll do that also, Murli.
Okay, thank you. So are we good to wrap up this session now?
A few of us have asked some questions in the chat, and we are answering them in the chat itself. You may also ask it over the mic. So once all the questions and doubts gets answered, we will end the session.